Is your home truly safe for your furry friend? Let's find out. Even harmless-looking items can be hazards for curious canines. We'll walk through 10 essential tips to dog-proof your home. Alright, let's kick things off in the heart of the home, the kitchen. This is prime real estate for delicious smells and tempting treats, but it's also a minefield of potential dangers for your dog. First up, we gotta talk about food. We've all been there. You're chopping veggies and a stray carrot falls to the floor. Before you know it, your dog snatched it up. While some table scraps are harmless, others like grapes, onions, and chocolate can be toxic to dogs. Make sure all your food, including those sneaky snacks that fall off the counter, are well out of your dog's reach. Invest in a sturdy dog-proof trash can with a secure lid. Trust me, your dog will thank you for it. Store cleaning supplies in a high, secure cabinet, ideally one with a child-proof lock. A little precaution in the kitchen can go a long way in keeping your dog safe and sound. Now let's move on to the living room, where your dog likely spends a lot of time lounging and playing. But even this seemingly harmless space can harbor hidden dangers for a curious canine. One of the biggest risks in the living room is those tempting electrical cords snaking their way across the floor. Use cord organizers or covers to keep those cords out of sight and out of reach. Look around for other potential chewing hazards, things like loose wires and small objects. Remember, a dog-proofed living room is a safe and happy living room for both you and your furry friend. The bedroom, it's your sanctuary, a place to relax and unwind. But for your dog, it can also be a land of tempting smells, cozy corners, and maybe even a few forbidden treasures. So how do you make sure your bedroom is a safe and comfortable space for both you and your furry friend? First things first, let's talk about the bed. Many dog owners love to cuddle up with their furry friends at night, but it's important to establish some ground rules. If you allow your dog on the bed, make sure they have a designated spot and that they know how to get on and off safely. And if you'd rather keep your dog off the bed altogether, that's perfectly fine too. Just make sure they have a comfortable and cozy bed of their own in the bedroom. Bedrooms often contain a treasure trove of items that can be dangerous to dogs, from medications and toiletries to jewelry and small electronics. Make sure these items are stored safely out of reach, either in drawers on high shelves or in closed cabinets. Now let's head to the bathroom. A room that might seem harmless enough, but trust me, it can be a surprisingly dangerous place for your dog. First and foremost, let's talk about the toilet. To us, it's a necessity, but to a dog, it can look like a giant water bowl. Always keep the toilet lid closed, especially if you have a small dog or a puppy who might be tempted to take a dip. Bathrooms are full of products that can be harmful if ingested by your dog. Keep these items safely stored away in cabinets or drawers, and be especially careful with medications. Store cleaning products in a secure location, ideally in a high cabinet with a child-proof lock. Opt for a trash can with a lid, and consider keeping it in a cabinet or behind a closed door. The laundry room. It's where dirty clothes go to become clean again. But it can also be a surprisingly dangerous place for your four-legged friend. This often overlooked area of the house can pose several hidden risks. Dogs are naturally curious creatures, and the laundry room, with its intriguing smells and tempting textures, can be a magnet for mischief. Their inquisitive nature can lead them into trouble if precautions aren't taken. First and foremost, let's talk about laundry detergent. These everyday cleaning agents can be deceptively dangerous. Those colorful pods and liquid concentrates might look like fun toys to a dog, but they contain harsh chemicals that can be extremely harmful if ingested. Even a small amount can cause serious health issues. Always store laundry detergent in a secure location, well out of reach of your dog. High shelves or locked cabinets are ideal, and while you're at it, take a look around for any other potential hazards, such as fabric softener sheets, bleach, and stain removers. These items can be just as dangerous. These should all be stored high up, out of sight, and ideally behind closed doors. This ensures that your dog cannot access them. Make it a habit to keep the floor clear of clutter and to check pockets before throwing clothes in the wash. Small items like buttons and coins can be choking hazards. And speaking of the washing machine and dryer, it's important to make sure these appliances are properly secured when not in use. Unsecured doors can be a trap for curious pets. Keep the doors closed and consider using appliance locks or child-proof latches for an extra layer of security. This simple step can prevent accidents and keep your pet safe. Alright, let's move on to the garage. A space that often serves as a catch-all for tools, equipment, and all sorts of other interesting, but potentially dangerous items. If you're like me, you probably love tinkering around in the garage, but it's important to make sure this space is a safe zone for your furry friend. Garages often house a variety of chemicals, from paint thinners and solvents to pesticides and fertilizers, many of which can be extremely toxic to dogs. These chemicals should always be stored in their original containers, clearly labeled, and kept well out of reach of your dog. From power tools to hand tools, garages are full of items that can pose a serious threat to a curious dog. Make it a habit to put tools away properly after each use, and consider storing them in a locked toolbox or cabinet. Consider using a baby gate or installing a dog door with a secure latch to control your dog's access. Now let's step outside into the backyard, a dog's paradise for running, playing, and soaking up the sunshine. But even this seemingly safe haven can harbor hidden dangers for your furry friend. First and foremost, let's talk about the fence. A secure fence is crucial for keeping your dog safe and contained within your yard. Check your fence regularly for any gaps or holes that your dog could squeeze through or dig under. And if you have a jumper or a climber, make sure your fence is tall enough to prevent escapes. Next up, let's talk about plants. Some plants can be toxic to dogs if ingested, causing serious health issues. Remove poisonous plants from your yard or keep them out of reach. Now, let's move on to fertilizers and pesticides. Choose pet-safe options and follow instructions carefully to avoid any mishaps. And finally, let's talk about water features. Consider installing a fence around your pool or using a pool alarm to alert you if your dog gets too close. Always supervise your dog when they're near water to ensure their safety. The home office. It's a place for productivity, focus, and maybe even a little bit of peace and quiet, where you can get your best work done. It's your personal sanctuary, designed to help you concentrate and achieve your professional goals. But if you're a dog owner, you know that your furry friend might have other plans, especially if they see you spending an extended amount of time in this mysterious room, away from them. They might be curious, or simply want to be near you, turning your serene workspace into a playground. So, how do you create a home office that's both functional and safe for your four-legged coworker, ensuring a harmonious work environment? It's all about balancing your needs with theirs, creating a space where both of you can coexist peacefully. First and foremost, let's talk about cords and cables, which can be a major hazard. These are not just tripping hazards for you, but also potential dangers for your dog. Home offices are notorious for having a tangle of cords and cables snaking their way across the floor, and to a dog, these can look like tempting chew toys, just waiting to be gnawed on. This can lead to electrical hazards or even choking. Use cord organizers, covers, or even just a little bit of strategic taping to keep those cords out of sight and out of reach, minimizing the risk. This not only keeps your dog safe, but also helps in maintaining a tidy workspace. And while you're at it, take a look around for any other potential chewing hazards, such as loose pens, paper clips, or rubber bands, which can be equally dangerous. These small items can easily be swallowed, leading to serious health issues. Anything that might look like a tasty treat to your dog should be secured. It's better to be safe than sorry, ensuring that your office is free from any small, chewable objects. Next up, let's talk about storage solutions. Proper storage is key to keeping your office organized and safe. Home offices often contain a variety of items that can be dangerous to dogs, from staples and paper shredders to cleaning supplies and medications, all of which need to be kept away. These items can pose serious risks if ingested or mishandled by your pet. Make sure these items are stored safely out of reach, either in drawers, on high shelves, or in closed cabinets to prevent any accidents. This not only protects your dog, but also keeps your office clutter-free. Now let's talk about distractions, which can be a major issue. A distracted mind is an unproductive mind, and dogs can be quite the distraction. Dogs are social creatures and they thrive on attention, often seeking it out when you're busiest. They might nudge you for a pet, bark for attention, or simply stare at you with those irresistible eyes. If you're trying to focus on work, the last thing you need is your dog vying for your attention, barking at the mailman, or getting into mischief in the background, disrupting your workflow. These interruptions can break your concentration and reduce your productivity. Consider setting up a designated space for your dog in your home office, such as a dog bed or a crate, where they can relax and feel comfortable while you're working, ensuring they feel included. This gives them a sense of belonging and keeps them occupied. And if your dog is particularly demanding, you might need to resort to closing the door or using a baby gate to keep them out of the office altogether during work hours, maintaining your focus. This way you can ensure that both you and your dog have a productive and stress-free day. The dining room, it's where we gather to share meals and connect with loved ones. For dog owners, it can be stressful if your furry friend begs for scraps or sneaks a taste from unattended plates. Create a dining room that's welcoming and safe by establishing clear boundaries. Decide if your dog is allowed in the dining room during meal times, and if so, where they're allowed to be. A designated spot, like a dog bed or mat, can help prevent begging at the table. Many human foods can be harmful to dogs. Avoid feeding them table scraps, store leftovers in airtight containers, and make sure your trash can is dog-proof. Clean up spills or crumbs promptly to avoid attracting your dog. Hallways. They're the arteries of our homes, connecting one room to another and often bustling with activity. Yet they are often overlooked when it comes to dog-proofing, despite their frequent use. But even these seemingly harmless spaces can pose hidden dangers for our furry friends, making it essential to pay attention. First and foremost, let's talk about clutter, which can accumulate quickly. Hallways often become dumping grounds for shoes, bags, and other items that don't have a designated spot, creating potential hazards. But for dogs, especially curious puppies, these objects can become choking hazards, or worse, lead to serious health issues. Or worse yet, intestinal blockages if ingested, which can be life-threatening and require immediate veterinary attention. Make it a habit to keep hallways clear of clutter, ensuring a safer environment for your pets, and to store items off the floor and out of reach, using shelves or storage bins. Next up, let's talk about cords and wires, which are often found in hallways. Just like in other areas of the home, cords and wires in hallways can be tempting chew toys for dogs, leading to dangerous situations, leading to electrocution or burns, which can cause severe injuries or even be fatal. Secure cords and wires out of reach using cord organizers, covers, or even just a little bit of strategic taping to keep them safe. Now, let's talk about stairs, which can be particularly tricky for pets. For some dogs, especially smaller breeds or those with mobility issues, stairs can be challenging and even dangerous, posing a risk of falls. Consider installing stair gates at the top and bottom of staircases to prevent falls and ensure your pet's safety. And use non-slip mats or runners on hardwood stairs to provide better traction and safety, reducing the risk of slips and falls. Hallways are often the first point of contact for guests entering your home, making them a high-traffic area. And even the most well-behaved dog can get excited or overwhelmed by visitors, leading to potential stress or accidents. Make sure your dog has a designated safe space, such as a crate or a bed in another room, where they can retreat to if they feel overwhelmed or anxious. Providing them with a sense of security. And be sure to inform guests of your dog's boundaries and any house rules you have in place, ensuring a harmonious environment for everyone. And there you have it, a room-by-room guide to dog-proofing your home. A little prevention goes a long way in keeping your furry friends safe. Create a happy, healthy home for you and your canine companion. Like, subscribe, and visit our website for amazing dog-themed products.